go. Hey there everybody, Nick here with Tack Drivers, and today we're back out at the range with a little bit of a different one. It's a 1911, kind of. It's definitely looking like one. However, it's made by Llama. This particular model is the subcompact Maxima X45. It is a double stack 45, 10+1, and this thing kicks like a mule. I put a few rounds through it just so I could feel what it see what it felt like beforehand. I've already seen myself anticipate recoil and hit low, but we're going to test this at 7, 15, and 20 yards. I'm loaded up, ready to go. I've got a target. So without further ado, let's get to shooting. Alrighty everyone, you got a nice side profile so you can see if I anticipate recoil from there. Also, starting out, we are at 7 yards. 5-round groupings. This has the same thumb safety as most 1911s. Obviously the hammer there, so let's go ahead and put 5 rounds into this. Oh, right. I do have it loaded with 10 rounds, so that is why we did not see the slide lock back. Go ahead and get the safety on there. Like I said, this has a hell of a recoil. I was consistently low here. I did put 2 right on top of each other almost, so it's consistent. Now whether I'm anticipating recoil consistently, or if it's the firearm, I'll see in editing. My guess is I'm anticipating recoil because like I said, I shot this first and I had a couple hit where they were supposed to. So I don't think there's any need for me to go talk about this at the target. Clearly see where I hit. We're just going to mark those off, push this out to 15 and go from there. This is probably going to be a quick video, but let's get some moving around done. Alrighty, we are loaded up, ready to shoot this at 15 yards. I'm going to try to be sure I grip this correctly. And I think I'm going to continue to hold center. That way we can see if it is me or the firearm. It helps if you take the safety off before you try to fire any weapon. I will say that I think I hit high. If I'm looking at that correctly, I don't think I had a very good grip on the gun. Never a good thing. But those are both way low. I have to be anticipating recoil. Because otherwise that the gun hits that low all the time. Nice round, slide locks back. This has a very different barrel shape than most 1911s. As you see here, it flares out at the end, and so you don't have that lock ring on the back. My guess is we will push this out to disassemble for cleaning. But let's go talk about our hits and go from there. Alrighty, so this is the one that I hit that I knew I was high because I was pretty sure I didn't have a good grip on the gun, and it came up instead of, well, it definitely counteracted me anticipating recoil like I did with 1, 2, 3, and 4 shots. This thing has a lot of recoil, and I think that's why I'm anticipating it. I should definitely think about getting some snap caps. If I was going to shoot this gun a lot, I am going to want to practice with it a lot more so that I no longer anticipate that recoil and I can hit consistently. I mean, this is consistent, but it's consistently low because I'm anticipating recoil. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to hit that, and then when I anticipate recoil at 20 yards, I should hit right in around here. So if I miraculously hit up above, we'll think that maybe I fixed my anticipations. So let's get this moved and go from there. Alrighty everyone, here we are, 21.5 yards, just because I didn't want to keep moving it. I've got 10 rounds, so let's go ahead. We're only going to shoot 5, and then I think I'm going to bring it in back to 5 to 7 yards and see if I can hit more consistently. That slide was really jerky going forward, but hey, like I said, how often do you get to use a double stack 1911 that's subcompact and not 9mm? Looks like I am high there, but I'm just gonna continue to hold center. Well, we have a feeding issue apparently. It did not want to cycle that next round in. I don't see anything wrong with it. We're just going to go ahead and drop that guy in the pocket just in case. So there we go. There we cycled fine. And at center. Another one where it didn't go all the way forward. So this does have feeding issues, I would say. And I fired 3 times, I do believe. So we've just got 2 more shots. That one I think hit wide to the one side. And there again, so every 2 shots we are not cycling correctly because it didn't go all the way forward there. If you're wanting a subcompact 45 1911 for home or self-defense, I don't think the Llama is the way to go. Obviously, feeding issues, but not on every round. 1 and the 2 more in my pocket. So yeah, that is what it is. But I think I'm going to use these last 4 rounds. I'll bring it in close and see if they cycle through these a little bit better at closer, because we haven't had this issue until we shoved it out this far. It could be the cartridges, it might not be, but let's get it closer so we can see our hits. But first we're going to go talk about those hits. So we have a few hits here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Either I miscounted loading that, or I miscounted while firing. However, either way, we're very sporadic. I was closer to center this round, so, but you know, with 2 shots anyway. But we had that feeding issue, which really threw me off on getting back on target and re-aiming. We've got 4 rounds left. We're going to see if they feed correctly, and I'm going to skip holding on this. I'll just record from there and maybe turn it so you can also see the target, and it'll be all on one. But not super great. The Kimber that I shot a while ago, of course we couldn't have feeding issues because we forgot the mags at home. I will make sure that I do a video with the mags. It's not out here with me today, otherwise we'd probably just go ahead and do it. But let's get to moving around and see what it does close range again. Maybe I've shot it a few times now, I'll be a little more accustomed to that recoil, and we'll have a more accurate idea of what it would do at close range. So let's do that. Alrighty, here we are, back at the beginning. It's actually a little closer to 5 yards this round. We have 4 shots, and it must be something with the cartridge itself because this one just didn't want to cycle. But let's go ahead, and I'm gonna hold center, see what I do. Already we're doing better, other than this not wanting to slide all the way forward, really impeding our re-getting on target. That one fed fine this time. And that one fed fine. So there we are, out of ammo. There's a 4 shot. It's fun to shoot, but it does kick like a mule. With the feeding issues, I would probably go against the Llama, but I had 1 bullseye. Otherwise, we are low for the other 1-2 shot. And where's shot number 4? We're gonna go talk about it. So there's 1, 2, 3. And it's kind of worrisome that I don't see shot number 4 this close up. That being said, let's get inside and talk about this a little more. Hey there everybody, Nick here with Tack Drivers, and today we had that Llama 1911 clone. Had a decent time out at the range. Definitely wish I had hit better with it. Had some decent hits, but the recoil on this thing is insane. To go over a couple things here before we get to the disassembly portion of it. Your thumb safety is here, and just like a normal 1911, so your mag release, we're gonna have to do that because it's empty. Just like with that, your hammer has to be all the way back for it to go up. And obviously, it locks the slide like it's supposed to. We are empty, so go ahead and pull that trigger. Got a grip safety. Your slide lock here, obviously, like normal, comes up into there. And there you have it. This one's kind of tough. Seemed like it before anyway. Don't get this expecting it to come apart like a normal 1911. I'm going to point at the camera here. As you can see, there's nothing on the end here to take it apart because that's not how this one comes apart. It is all with your slide lock. So this first little arch in here, you line that up in there, and if you look through your chamber, you can actually see if you're lined up or not, apparently, because I just found that out. Then you can let that go. This does need to come all the way out, and then your slide comes right off. And so there's your frame and everything. This is way different than a 1911 in the fact that you have kind of, I guess, multiple pieces. You got your spring and everything, but then you got this nice little spacer that goes in front of that, and your barrel goes out the front. So similar but different components. The sights on this, fixed front sight, adjustable rear, looks like it is held in. The beaver tail, there's no set screw or anything. So there is a mark on this one to show what's supposed to be center, so where it's supposed to be to line up with that. So obviously there's not much for customization on these. I bet you could find something and knock that out if you were to want to put a red dot on or something like that to run on your Llama. But to go together, obviously, this one isn't that bad, but your barrel slides back through. Make sure that little spacer's up. Get this in there, and the smaller end, whoops, the smaller end here goes towards the front of the gun with the little archway parts down. So then you have this, and where the spring hangs off is what goes up in there, and then this should sit in here. Whew, about had that come back at my face. Wouldn't have been fun. It doesn't want to stay in there the greatest, because there's not a solid flat part that it rests against. Okay, there they like clicked into place a little bit. You can see that sticking out there a touch. Maybe we'll get this all together, make sure the slide moves like it's supposed to. But just like any of them, you got your channels on here. Let's slide in there. And then again, there we go. The way you got to do this is start this in here. You'll have to make sure that that little part that swings on the barrel is lined up with the hole to get that in there. And don't push that too far up, because you will have to push it in to push that back. Line that back up with the arch. In it goes. Ooh, about pinched my own hand. So you can see that's sitting smooth like it's supposed to now. But there we go. Like I said, this thing had quite a bit of kick for it. Being the subcompact, it's almost heavier than that Kimber that I did a while back, but it does the size of it doesn't handle the recoil the same, and I think I was also anticipating recoil a lot. Then we had the cycling issue, so not sure what caused that, whether it was something with that spring or something else. You know, it locks back like it's supposed to, and you know, overall it's gonna get the job done. And if it jams on you, just chuck it, because it's got some weight behind it. So, but yeah, all in all, definitely not meant for long distance shooting. I probably wouldn't use this if you got into competition shooting. Get a full frame one, especially if you were sticking with a double stack like this one is. But hey, it's a firearm, and if it's what you got, shoot them if you got them. But that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video on this. This is kind of a different little thing. You don't hear about them very often, but go ahead and like and subscribe. I've got the links to my Etsy, Instagram, and Facebook, as well as my website in the description. And we'll see you next time. You know,